Hello everyone, this is Peak Entertainment and we are back again. We're now going to talk about Godzilla vs Kong and the much anticipated trailer recently dropped online. I'm just going to give my overall thoughts and feelings on it. It was certainly action packed and spectacular. I'm just going to go into some of the details here. So overall, Godzilla vs Kong, this is I believe the fourth film in the Godzilla franchise. We had the first movie, which overall I think is still the best, coming out in 2014. I think that was directed by Gareth Edwards. We later on had Kong Skull Island in 2017, and then we had Godzilla King of Monsters back in 2019, which I think overall was probably the weakest of the three films in my opinion. I think it was just a bit overblown too much. They obviously paid a lot of attention to the source material, but I think it was too much at one time, overwhelmed you too much, and some of the effects and action were a bit incoherent. I did enjoy Kong Skull Island. I thought that was just overall a very nice, dumbed down blockbuster. You had a very good cast of actors. That was the likes of Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, and I believe Samuel L. Jackson as well, of the likes were involved in that movie. So I did enjoy Kong Skull Island as well. But this is overall the fourth film. I believe it was due for release back in November 2020, before obviously all of the delays due to COVID-19. So this is of course one of the many hyped up films within the Warner Brothers slate that will be released simultaneously in cinemas and on HBO Max, and this will be due for release on March the 26th. So in terms of the cast, it stars the likes of Alexander Skarsgård, Millie Bobby Brown making a return, Rebecca Hall, Isa Gonzalez, and Jessica Henwick. Bit light on details in terms of the plot and story, but essentially Godzilla and Kong have an epic fight for the ages. We get some sort of hint that there was this long outstanding war. If you remember, I believe the ending of Godzilla King of Monsters, it essentially ended with Godzilla basically standing on top with all the other monsters surrounding him. And I think the hints from this trailer, if we go into it, it's essentially painting Kong as almost the protagonist. We get those early hints where we have the child who can seemingly communicate with Kong. We see early scenes here where she's touching bases with him, and Rebecca Hall alludes to the fact that maybe there's a long bond and connection between the two. So that's very interesting. I don't believe there was any hint of that within Kong Skull Island. So, but yeah, very interesting to see how they paint those details and how they develop that overall storyline. We get those early shots as well where we see Kong is captured within the ships. So we don't know what's happened to him post the end of Kong Skull Island. We see those early shots as well where he's got that neck collar around him. So obviously they've discovered him, and as usual with these typical kind of monster narratives, they capture the monster and they seemingly want to get control of him and use him as a weapon. So I'm pretty sure we'll get that within the early part of the movie. We also get hints that seemingly they want to acquire Kong to stop what's coming for him, which we assume is Godzilla. And we get that great shot where we see Godzilla emerging from the sea to take on all the submarines. Fantastic shots where we see all the fighter jets using his tail to repel them. And then we see that great shot where Kong is looking down in the water, and then Godzilla just comes up from it and thrusts up and jumps around him. This is all great visually, all great shots on here. They've really gone all out. I guess to really promote this film, they've wanted to make sure that this trailer made a massive impression, and it certainly did. We got those great money shots where we see Kong throwing a punch at Godzilla and being submerged in the water. That great shot as well where we see Godzilla using his blue beam blast underwater, and we see Kong jumping to avoid it. We get certain scenes of other human characters. I really hope they don't overdose on it, because I think that's some of the problem with some of the Godzilla movies, is that there are too many human characters. I think they get in the way with the overall plot and storyline. I think if you focus to a core maybe 3 or 4 characters and you build better on their characterization, I think that was another flaw certainly within Godzilla King of Monsters. There was very lack of characterization. We all know the real stars of the show are both Godzilla and Kong, and you can't deny the effects on it. They look fantastic. Certainly it's going to be balls to the wall action, which is what fans want and expect from this concept of movie. So you can't deny that they're not going to deliver on that aspect. One feeling I felt is, did they show too much? Because we get so many scenes. We see another scene where Kong is in the jungle and he's swinging around, I think it's other dinosaurs or pterodactyls. Looks spectacular, very reminiscent, if you remember, of the King Kong movie by Peter Jackson. This certain scene on it, I really liked that movie. I thought that was really good. But this scene was very reminiscent of Peter Jackson's movie. We see Kong and Godzilla fighting in that neon of city on here. Great shots, but I just feel, did they show too much? You know, you want to spare some action. You can't show all the action beats. You want to leave a little bit to surprise and revelation when we come to actually watch the movie. So I just worry, in their eagerness to really promote this film, did they overload it too much? I mean, I'm pretty sure there'll still be some surprising elements when we go and watch the movie. Or how much will they tap into the lore of Godzilla or Kong? That was one of the aspects I did like about Godzilla and King of Monsters. There was that particular sequence where, if you remember, Ken Watanabe's character, and he had to go underwater, and we got more revelation to the temples and everything about Godzilla. I did like that, and I hope they build much more on that. Yes, we're going to get lots of action and spectacle, that's what you would expect, but I just want a bit more depth into the mythology. I felt Godzilla King of Monsters, they threw a bit too much at you without really explanation. So hopefully we can get a bit more depth into the whole history and some explanation as to what's happened. Why is it seemingly like Godzilla is the antagonist, whereas previously, as we all know throughout his films, he is very much the protagonist? What's his aim? What's he trying to do? I'm pretty sure we'll find that all within the movie. But overall, in terms of this trailer, you can't deny it's a great visually looking trailer, and I'm pretty sure any fan of the franchise will be very satisfied when they look at this trailer. Lots of money shots, great HD effects. Both Kong and Godzilla look fantastic. I think Kong, was he originally this big in the Kong Skull Island? I can't remember as such. I've only really watched these movies once. I imagine that Godzilla was meant to be bigger in size, but here they've pretty much the same size, which I suppose helps when they're facing off against each other. But really, overall, I don't think you can really complain too much, because it delivers on the premise, which you want to see a big massive smackdown between Godzilla and Kong. And in terms of that premise, the trailer very much did its job. So that's really my overall thoughts and feelings on the Godzilla versus Kong. High spectacle, high effects, lots of action fighting between the two celebrated monsters, and I think pretty much that's what it will deliver and give fans everything that they want to see. So those are my thoughts on the Godzilla vs Kong trailer. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did it satisfy you? Were you a massive fan and waiting in huge anticipation for this trailer, or did you think it underwhelmed you a bit? Did you get a bit of vibes of maybe Pacific Rim? Particularly, that's what I got when I saw when they're fighting in the neon lights. I got that Pacific Rim kind of feeling about it. Hopefully it's a better movie than Pacific Rim overall. Did you think the visual shots are very impressive overall? What do you think in terms of story? How would they develop the reasoning for Godzilla versus Kong? But overall, great trailer. Get me very excited for the film, which is due for release on March 2021, simultaneously in cinemas and HBO Max. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings on Godzilla vs Kong. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please hit those like and subscribe buttons so I can provide more high quality content for you in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, stay at safe distances, and I will see you very, very soon.